Hey guys, what is going on? Brokicks here, and today we are here with Warlords of Draenor patch 6.2 Windwalker Monk Guide for PvP. Now, this season just ended and the new patch just came out. So this is a guide just for everyone starting monks and everything like that. They took out our set bonuses because the season ended, so you know, those don't really like matter when you're doing a guide, I guess. So I'm just gonna basically tell you what talents you need to do and what glows you need to do, because nothing really changed for us except for like damage nerfs, but nothing really changed for us talents wise, and nothing changed rotation wise. Alright, so let's get right into it. So if the first talent you're gonna want to always use, in my opinion, is Tiger's Lust. Now what Tiger's Lust does, it removes you from all movement and pairing effects, so like entangling roots, ice novas and stuff like that. It gets rid of that and also increases your movement speed by 70% for 6 seconds. And it's got a 30-second cooldown, so that's a relatively good cooldown for such a useful ability in my opinion. So for tier 1, I recommend Tiger's Lust. Now for tier 2, in my opinion, it's always been between Chi Wave and Chi Burst. Chi Wave was really good last expansion, but I don't think it's holding up to what it used to be. So I'm going to recommend trying out Chi Burst. Now Chi Burst does really well. It not only does tons of damage, but it also heals you. So if you have 10 stacks of Tiger Eye and you start your burst out with this, you're going to get like a 50k crit with Chi Burst. Not only that, but it is going to heal you for almost that much, which is insane. So take Chi Burst, but the only downside of it is castable. So if you do get silenced, then that could hurt you. But I would only use this when you're bursting people. For instance, like if you paralysis them, that's when you need to use Chi Burst if you're going to use it. So for tier 2, in my opinion, pick Chi Burst. For tier 3, in my opinion, for PvP wise, Chi Brew is always the way to go. Not only does it restore 2 stacks of Tiger Eye, but it also restores 2 Chi, and it has 2 charges. And there's a minute on each recharge, which kind of sucks. But at the beginning of arena, before you go into combat, you pop both of these. You automatically have 4 Chi, and you've gained 4 stacks of Tiger Eye. Not to mention with their mastery, you can get up to 6 because you have Bottled Fury, which increases your chance of gaining an extra charge. Now that is really helpful, not only when you're Chi starved and energy starved, you have one of these up, boom, you get 2 Chi. It's really helpful. Ascension, it increases your maximum Chi by 1, which we would have 6, but it's harder to get that burst up, and it's harder to just build up our energy, and it's harder to build up our Tiger Eye stacks is what I'm trying to say. So for tier 3, pick Chi Brew. Alright, for tier 4, in my opinion, the way to go is either Ring of Peace or Leg Sweep. Ring of Peace is really good because not only does it silence everyone around you for 8 seconds, but it also will stun them for 5. And that's really good. And it is an area of effect stun, which, I mean, in my opinion, it's not like as good. What it does is this form a ring of peace around the friendly target for 8 seconds, incapacitating all enemies for 5 seconds, and incapacitating all other enemies the first time they use a harmful spell or ability. Now that's good, but the only thing is, it's not a stun. Because if you get damaged, you're instantly broken out of it, I think. Don't take my word for it, but I think, and that's why not a lot of people use it. Why people use Leg Sweep is it has the same cooldown of Ring of Peace, but it is a 5-second stun if you can land it, and that is really helpful when you're bursting. When you burst, choose Leg Sweep. That's all I'm going to say. Just use Leg Sweep. Now, for tier 5, in my opinion, it's very situational. Very, very situational. Most of the times you will always see me using healing elixirs just for the extra healing, but say if you're going up a double DPS comp, and they're both melee, then Dampen Harm is going to be really helpful because it reduces damage taken by 50% for 3 seconds. For the next 3 attacks, I mean. but it has a 1.5 minute cooldown, so that's bad, and most of the time you're not going to use it. Diffuse magic is good because it reduces all magical damage taken by 90% for 6 seconds, but it runs on a 1.5 minute cooldown. Now what healing elixirs does is it heals you for 15% of your maximum health when a damaging attack brings you below 35% health, which is very helpful. Or when you drink a brew or tea while injured, this effect can only happen 18 seconds, every 18 seconds. Now that, in my opinion, is much better than the other two, because not only does it heal you, but it runs on a very short cooldown, which is awesome. So, in my opinion, tier 5, take healing elixirs. Now, for tier 6, back in 5.4, Rushing Jade Wind was the way to go. But now, since Warlords of Draenor has come out, that talent has become a killer to us. We don't want to use that, so no take Rushing Jade Wind. The ones that we use are Invoke, Zuen, or Zune, however you want to call it, the White Tiger, or Chi Torpedo. Now these, it's probably just personal opinion. If you're doing 2s, I recommend going Chi Torpedo if you're not with the healer, just because it does help with your burst, and it also heals you. And what I'm talking about when it does helps you with your burst is it does do damage, but if you do, it requires you to sort of have them up against a wall. If you have them up against a wall, then you're golden. You can probably, and to my knowledge, you can kill them within 3 seconds with your full burst, which is awesome, but they have to be up against a wall, because if you use both of them, they're not getting out of the damage of Chi Torpedo. And if you're just using it out in the open, you're going to go from one end of the map to the other, and you could get lost. It's very... Chi Torpedo is mainly for healing, and, you know, your burst, it has to be up against a wall. But Invoke Zune, the White Tiger, if you're running with the healer, then I would take this. Just because it's a 3-minute cooldown, but it's good because it lasts for 45 seconds. And it really helps with damage. It does tons of damage, trust me guys. I have one-shotted people with Zune, the White Tiger before. It's crazy. It also keeps rogues out of combat, which is really good. So those are just some things to think about. But if you're doing 2s, I would take Chi Torpedo. And Chi Torpedo if you're not running with the healer. And if you're running 3s, maybe choose Zuen, the White Tiger. But, you know, it's whatever you want to choose. In my opinion, I'm always going to be running Chi Torpedo this expansion probably, unless they change something. So, that's just what I picked. That's something for you guys to think about. Okay, so for tier 7, let me just put this out. No one used Serenity. I don't even think Brewmaster monks are going to be using Serenity anymore. Not Windwalker monks used it in patch 6.0, but it is bad. 6.1 Hurricane Strike's got a huge buff, and everyone started using that. So, you know, I still use it, even though I got a 5% damage nerf. It is still very powerful, but at the same time, Chi Torpedo is very powerful too if you know how to use it. Maybe look up a guide on how to use Chi Explosion. I don't know really how to use it. When I use it, I just sit there and spam it. I mean, I don't really know how to use it to be beneficial and actually work. In my opinion though, Hurricane Strike is the best because not only can you kill someone very fast with this ability, but if you use this with 10 stacks of Tiger Eye, oh my gosh, it's gonna hurt them so bad. You have no idea. So, in my opinion, for tier 7, I would either take Chi Explosion if you know how to use it well, and Hurricane Strike. You will always probably see me run Hurricane Strike just because I don't know how to use Chi Explosion, and quite frankly, I'm too lazy. But both of the high-ranked monks, Windwalker monks in all arenas, they use Hurricane Strike and they use Chi Torpedo, so that's something to think about right there. They use both, so whatever you like best is probably the one you're going to want to go here. But for now, I use Hurricane Strike. Alright, so talents are finished. Let's get right on into glyphs. So for glyphs for 6.2, I always use Touch of Karma. Touch of Karma is the glyph is almost a must for PvP. I only saw one person use it, and he got wrecked. So you know, just take Touch of Karma. It's required in my opinion. It increases your Touch of Karma range by 20 yards. So that means your Touch of Karma range has a 25-yard range because it automatically has 5 yards. But that is huge for when a caster is bursting on you and you just can't get to him because you're slowed. good thing your Touch of Karma has a 25-yard range and not a 5-yard range. You can Touch of Karma him, and all of the damage is just being redirected to the enemy, and that, in my opinion, is huge. So for Touch of Karma, yeah, basically I reworded that, but for glyph number 1, take Touch of Karma. Alright, for glyphs number 2, this one is whatever you guys want, okay? In my opinion, I use Touch of Death and I use Freedom Roll. Now what Freedom Roll does is your Chi Torpedo, Flying Serpent Kick, and your roll, if you're not using Chi Torpedo, they dispel snares, which is very good. But on the other hand, Touch of Death allows you to instantly execute someone without 3 Chi when they get below 10%, but it has a 2-minute increased cooldown. Now here's the thing. The Touch of Death glyph could matter whether you win an arena or you lose an arena. I've done it many times where I've been taking Freedom Roll, and I didn't have 3 Chi to kill the enemy, and we ended up losing because he got away and healed up, and they both wrecked us. So that is something to think about, whether you want to be freed or when you get a kill. So that right there is huge. I use Touch of Death, but you know, for glyph number 3, for glyph 2 take Touch of Death, but for glyph number 3, you can either use glyph of Flying Fists or you can use Freedom Roll. Alright, Freedom Roll is good, but Flying Fists, in my opinion, is really good, just because it increases our Physical range by 5 yards, and now it has a 10-yard range. So Physical used to have a 5-yard range without the glyph, making it melee range, which really sucked, and was basically you were only able to use it while you're bursting. Now with the 10-yard range, you're able to use it while you're not bursting, and you can hit people a lot farther away, and that comes really handy. But I've noticed that they don't get stunned as long. They don't sit in the full duration because they are farther away. I have noticed that, so that is something to think about. So for glyph number 3, I will take glyph of Flying Fist or take Freedom Roll. Freedom Roll is something you may want to put in the glyph, but it's just something to think about. The only other glyph that I wouldn't take over Flying Fist would be Freedom Roll. That is probably the only glyph that I would ever take. Besides, yeah, Freedom Roll is the only other glyph that I would actually put in here and swap out with anything, because the other glyphs, let's face it, they're not as good. I mean, they have their purposes, but I mean, they're not really all that good. In 5.4, Nimble Brew was a really good glyph, and I used that for a long time, but now with all the other glyphs, it doesn't hold up, doesn't stand up to the other ones. So for glyph number 3, Flying Fists, and for glyph 2 and 3, if you want, swap them in with Freedom Roll. It's whatever you guys want. So anyways guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I tried to get this out as fast as possible, trying to be the first one out there with the patch 6.2 PvP guide for Windwalker monks. But yeah, I know that the season hasn't started yet and we don't get our set bonuses yet, but I don't think that's going to matter when it's not going to matter when we're making a guide, because your set bonuses are only going to combat, but they don't help you with your spells. The only set bonus that was last season was the Touch of Karma, which when you placed it, the damage had to exceed past 100% of your health in order to be good, in order for it to go away. But now without the set bonus, it's 50%. But I'm thinking that Blizzard will add that back into the next set bonus, and if they don't, then they really do, because then Windwalker months would be really bad. But anyway guys, again, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and of course, always subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Also, there's going to be more patch 6.2 content coming out soon. I'm sorry, this ending's going on a little bit too long. But anyway, more content coming soon about WoW. I know I just finished a Dishonored playthrough, but yeah, more WoW content coming out in the near future. Like, very near future, like maybe like days, or even a day. But anyways guys, hope you enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care.